Cool. So we are live, everyone. Let's just wait for everyone to join in. And for now, I'll just run around the sandbox like I always do. But while everyone is joining in, do you want to give a quick intro about yourself?
Sure. Hey guys. My name's Julia Schwartz. I'm one of the co-founders of Republic Realm. Really excited to be here. We've done a ton of work in the sandbox, including making the largest acquisition recently in a $4.3 million deal with Atari. And we're also the developers and creators of Fantasy Islands, which is a unique project of 100 islands and then associated community land around it. So really excited to be here and building in the sandbox and other metaverses with you guys, hopefully, and excited to chat about it. So thanks for having me on.
You're welcome. So I did do a bit of digging, and it seems like Republic Realm, you guys are doing a lot of things. You're not just focused on one thing. You're focused on education, investing. That's like a whole list that we can go into later. But first, do you want to give a quick background of the project and how the team came together?
Sure. So Republic Realm started last March, but we've been working on the idea for a while. There's a core team of us that have been working together at various startups for over 3 years now. And we actually started in a traditional real estate capacity at a real estate fintech startup called Compound. And ultimately, we were doing traditional real estate investing, and one of my colleagues, TJ Kawamura, who is super into metaverses and NFTs, was telling us about, digital real estate, and we couldn't resist but kind of jumping in full steam, just given where trends were in the market. And so we launched this digital real estate investment vehicle that would provide diversified access to NFT land in various metaverses. And that's kind of how we got our start. And then the NFT market absolutely blew up in a crazy way, which you all know. And the project kind of took off from there. So as you mentioned, we have a bunch of different verticals. Our main anchor is this metaverse real estate business. So all of the NFT projects that we put out will have a placemaking component so that these NFT communities that we're building have an online and a metaverse presence as well. So yeah, we do lots of different things that I'm happy to get into during the show.
So you've been building an NFT this whole you've been building Republic Realm since March of 2020.
Since March of 2021, we launched, but we had been working
Okay.
on it since December of 2020.
I'm looking at the website right now, and you guys are building a virtual shopping mall. It's called the Metakuju. Do you want to talk a little bit more about that and why
Sure.
you think virtual shopping could be a big deal?
Yeah, so we launched Metajuku earlier this year. I mean, during this time, obviously, all of the months and days are fading together. So, I mean, we launched it, I think, in the second quarter of this year. It's a shopping district inspired by the Harajuku shopping district in Japan, which is very colorful and vibrant and fun. And so we launched that in Decentraland, and we actually have two wearables tenants, Tribute and DressX, and they sell their digital wearables out of our mall. We also have interest from other tenants who want to rent out space. But yeah, the idea is for it to be a place where you can go in as your avatar and buy wearables or other NFTs. And I think we will start to see, as more even non-crypto native brands come into the metaverse, a use case for shopping in metaverse. Obviously, it's way more cost effective than having a brick and mortar store, and it provides a lot more accessibility for people who may not have access to real world stores. You can literally go in as your avatar, buy anything, and potentially some of these NFTs also have real world applications. So certain brands are doing interesting real world and digital world activations where if you own the NFT, you might be eligible to get, the sneakers in real life or whatnot. So I think we're going to start to see a lot of brands entering the metaverse and using NFTs in a way that provide interesting utility.
Okay. So let's say if I want to open my own merchandise shop inside the sandbox, I could come to you guys and rent out a space inside the Metakuju and just get that going.
Yeah, well, Metajuku is in Decentraland, so
Oh,
we
okay.
haven't built it in the Sandbox, but we definitely will be building malls and other, stores in the Sandbox. We own a ton of land there, and our goal is to bring really exciting and unique experiences for people, whether it's games or shopping experiences. But yeah, I mean, you could rent land from us or rent out a store from us, and we can absolutely, get you set up with a shop to sell whatever it is you want to sell.
Okay, cool. I'm really excited to see where metaverse shopping goes because right now, when you go online shopping, you're just looking through pictures. But I think once VR, starts to develop more, you can actually maybe press a button and then everything will just pop up around you, and you'll be able to. It's just a much more immersive shopping experience. That's how I'm picturing it right now. Obviously, we don't know what's going to happen because it's so far down the line.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think, um, what we always say is in the metaverse, you're not bound by gravity or physics or anything, right? So
Mm.
you can get really creative and you're only really limited by your imagination in the metaverse. So our focus is on bringing really unique and exciting experiences for people in metaverse that wouldn't even be physically possible in the real world because while we're borrowing a lot of real world real estate principles, what's the point of doing it the same way as things are done in the real world? Like, let's have a little fun with it.
Are you also building for different NFT projects? Like, let's say, I don't know, if the Sappy Seal wants to build inside the Central Link, could they come to you and hire you to build for them?
Yeah, I think we partner with people in lots of different ways. One of them is definitely building creative spaces for them. So, because we own land and we're a developer of land, we work with different partners to build them experiences that they're interested in putting out in the metaverse. But we really like to establish, long-term relationships with the people that we partner with. So we like to have community involvement with the people that we partner with. So we wouldn't just want to, put up a build for someone and, call it a day. We like to really be collaborative and a part of the fabric of their community. So we're building very different types of experiences for different types of real world customers and also crypto native brands.
Okay. Could you talk a little bit more about Fantasy Island? Because I saw that and I thought the art was amazing. So I think the deal is you pretty much own your own island inside the metaverse, and you can customize it however you want. You can chill at it, and it's yours.
Yeah. So Fantasy Islands is an idea that we came up with. Um, and we sold access keys to Fantasy Islands back in August, and we only sold 100 of them. So the idea was that this is the exciting thing about the metaverse is that you can be anyone who you want to be, and obviously everyone has ambitions and dreams and goals. But like one of the coolest things that I think a lot of people strive to is like, yeah, I want to own my own private island. That's sick, right?
Yeah.
So we took this desire and we brought it to the metaverse because the great thing about the metaverse is that you can actually make those things more obtainable. So we sold 100 NFT access key cards that entitle people to a parcel of land as well as a unique villa. So there's 3 different types of villas. Each one has its own rarity. And then there's also custom add-ons for each villa so that each villa will be a unique one of one NFT. And obviously the land parcel is a unique one of one NFT. So it was the first time that, anyone really sold an NFT with the land component, because our idea is that we want to bring these NFT projects into the metaverse so that people have digital homes and communities. And like in the real world, you'll be able to renovate your house, you'll be able to trade items with people, you'll be able to customize it. So we're really excited to deliver that to people. We haven't fully, obviously, the Sandbox isn't fully live yet. So we're still in the process of disseminating it to people. But we've also since sold other items that can be used with, the fantasy community, such as speedboats, jet skis, obviously the mega yacht, which pun intended made a lot of waves. So yeah, we're really excited about the community that we're building there. And we've seen a lot of just, interest from people on that project.
I see Mr. Winning 247 said that they like the idea of the fantasy island, and he's got a Cyberkong profile picture, so I can totally see this
Awesome. Well,
VX
we
Kong
hope to
just
party with
chilling.
you on the islands.
You said you did mention the mega yacht making waves. Do you want to talk a little bit more about what the mega yachts are and what utility they'll bring to the holders?
Sure. So we did a one of one auction for one super mega yacht. So there's only one that will ever be made. And obviously, once the Sandbox is live, it will have utility there. You can cruise around in it. You can host parties on it. There's a helicopter landing pad on it. So honestly, it's like a really cool status symbol. There will only be one. It's designed very sleek. And we're really excited for the Sandbox to eventually launch so that we can see that come into play. But just anecdotally, obviously I'm on a small team. We're a startup. And we had this idea for this mega yacht. And we also did it in advance of Art Basel Miami, because we knew there were going to be a lot of crypto events going on at that time. My whole team was down there. So we wanted to sell it around that time to kind of kick off those festivities. And obviously Miami is all about yachts and glitz and glam. And so the story kind of made sense. And we had the auction up for about 6 days. And auction psychology is like no one bids until the last second. And once the clock kind of struck 5, we started seeing this bidding war, and it kept going up and up and up. And we were all like clutched to our computers. And it was just really exciting. It felt like you were in the room of an auction house, and we couldn't believe it. But ultimately, it sold for 149 ETH, which is about 650K, which was the highest in-game NFT asset ever sold. So we're excited and think it brings immense value to just the whole brand of Fantasy Islands and the community there. So we're really excited to do more with that community, and we'll be rolling out a more comprehensive roadmap for the Fantasy Islands community in a couple of weeks. So definitely stay tuned for that. We have very exciting announcements to make.
149 ETH. That's a lot of money. So a lot of ETH.
It's a lot of ETH. Plus gas fees.
The gas fees are hurting my soul right now.
I know.
But why did you pick 100 and not 10,000 like what the other NFT projects are doing?
Yeah, it's a good question. And one of the things that we like to do at Republic Realm is push boundaries and do things a little bit differently. There are infinite projects that are, 10,000 iterations, 100,000 iterations, 8,888 iterations. And ultimately, while we're in the metaverse, we take a lot of principles from, real world psychology. And exclusive things are cool, right? Like you always want what you can't have. And balancing that with, the crypto ethos is obviously important to do it in a way where, you anchor the community in broader community goals. But we thought, let's make this really exclusive and let's make a high-end community so that we can build a broader community around it. And I think, if you're in New York and you want to go to a nightclub, you see a line out the door and you're like, ooh, I want to get in there. I wonder what's going on in there. And that's kind of what we thought we would do with Fantasy Islands. Make it this, really high-end, exciting club to be a part of. And so that's kind of the approach that we took. Every project will be different. But that's where we wanted to go with that. And I think ultimately we didn't know how it was going to play out, but we're pleased with the outcome. And I think the community is, because it's small, they're very tight knit. We have a very active Discord. There's lots of ideas floating around. And so that was our approach there. We wanted to do things a little bit differently and make it, not everyone owns a private island in the real world, but and not everyone can own one in the metaverse either, but at least it's a little bit more obtainable, but it still kind of borrows some of those real world principles.
It's more obtainable at the moment. You never know.
At the moment, but we'll see with land prices, right?
Yeah. So let's say if the prices of Fantasy Island goes up, and the floor is 100 ETH, and the community grows, and more people want to buy the land plots. Will you be making, future land sales that maybe they don't have as many perks as the Genesis ones are? How do you plan on going about that?
Yeah, I think our goal now is to really grow and develop the Fantasy Islands community. So we have these 100 Fantasy Islands. Each one has a parcel and each one will have a unique villa. But then we also have, it's part of an estate. So I think there's 245 or 244 parcels in total, 100 of which are carved out for the islands. But the rest is all space that can be used, right? So
Okay.
we're going to build a marina, which you can use your boats in if you bought Fantasy Collection speedboats. We're building games, and we're building a community club. So the goal is for us to kind of almost like how if you join a beach club and there's like private access to one part and then, open access to the other. We're trying to build a community that benefits from, being part of the Fantasy Islands community as well. So right now, we're only selling those 100 plots, but we definitely have plans to do other projects in the Sandbox that have a land component and an NFT component, similarly to Fantasy Islands. But before we kind of keep selling more, we want to reward and engage and excite our existing community.
Cool. Mr. Winning did just make a very good comment. Who's got time to go to a real island? You got to deal with flights,
You
time
also don't
off,
have to wear a mask
pets.
in the metaverse, which
Exactly. Exactly. You
I
just
don't
have
want to wear a
to
mask on the beach.
just gotta
Imagine
log
that
into your
tan.
computer. I know. I live in Singapore and I have to wear a mask anywhere I go, and
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna end anytime soon.
Yeah. But no, that's the point. It's like this can be an escape, and a very accessible escape. And what's really cool is that people are really kind of embodying these communities as their identity. So your digital identity is definitely becoming synonymous with your physical identity. You see it, even the most basic manifestation of that is like if your Bored Ape is your profile picture, right? Like that is who you are. That's how you present yourself. I've even seen that on LinkedIn. It's like that's who you are, not even in Twitter or more playful space, but like in a professional setting too. So I think all of those things are further legitimizing of what the metaverse is and what it will become.
Yeah. A thought just came into my mind. Like right now, I feel like Bored Apes, they're getting a lot of hate because whenever people right click download their photos, they get mad. And I understand that getting mad at that, some people it might be ridiculous, but at the same time, these Bored Ape holders, the ape is their identity. So if someone right click save my profile picture, which is me, and went around pretending to be me, I'll be pretty mad as well. So it's similar to that, but it's
I
with
think
a
it
Bored Ape.
depends. Like on the other side of the coin, some people say imitation is the greatest form of flattery, right? So
Yeah.
I think it depends on what approach you take. I think obviously it's still early days. So if you're listening to this show, then you're an early adopter. And I think that the tech has a lot of catch up to do with the ideas. So, at Republic Realm, we're invested in over 20 metaverses, and only a fraction of them have launched or are live. So I think I'm really excited to see how the tech develops, how the user experience develops in a way that kind of meets our expectations and our imaginations.
Which out of the 20 metaverses that you have invested in, which one are you the most bullish on?
Um, I don't want to be cliche, but I'm super excited about Sandbox. I mean, you're looking at the screen now. What it can do is amazing. I'm really excited about how game focused it is because I think play to earn is the future of crypto. Obviously, we've seen it with Axie, but I think there's tons of other use cases, and that's why it's really important that these assets have utility. Um, but I'm really excited about the Sandbox. I also think, listen, like a lot of this is marketing and getting the right people on board. And if you look at the Sandbox map, You can see all the different parties that are involved. I mean, Snoop Dogg, you have Walking Dead, you have a bunch of huge crypto companies. So I think to me, what the future of metaverse is, it's the future of content, right? So you have social media now, which is a flat 2D experience, but there's a reason why you go on Instagram instead of Facebook, or you go on Twitter instead of whatever medium you choose, and it's because you like the content there. I think content is king in the metaverse, and what I'm excited about for the Sandbox is that the content and the content partners really seem to be the best of the best.
Yeah, and that way, like the more big projects that it brings on, they can do the advertising for Sandbox because they're going to tweet about it. If Sandbox succeeds, they win as well. They don't want their money to be wasted.
Exactly.
So you said you invested. I mean, Republic Realm is invested into 20 different metaverse projects. How do you go about choosing which ones are worthy?
Yeah. So we have a whole asset management business and a team that's responsible for diligencing all of the metaverses. So some of the things we look for is obviously, tech, and making sure that everything is promising and that the roadmap is clear and that it aligns with, what people want. But one of the things we do that we diligence is, social and community. And we really take social listening into consideration. We look at these projects' discords to see that they're active. We look to see who their partners are. We look to see who is tweeting about them and who's excited about them, because you can build the coolest metaverse ever, but if you can't get anyone to come, then it's not a good project, right? So I think the two of those paths need to be addressed in tandem. So it's not just the tech and the marketing, it's both at the same time. And so obviously we look at the team to make sure that they're qualified and that they've done something similar before. But really we value projects in the same way that you value any kind of real estate project as well. We look to see when we're buying specific land in a metaverse, we look at the fundamentals and the comps in the area and the location, but we also take into account all of the other things I mentioned, which is community, how active and engaged people are, what the roadmap is. So it's a combination of quantitative and qualitative factors. And obviously, because the space is so new, the data can be a little bit spotty, but I think there are a bunch of companies that are addressing that need.
Yeah, and I think each metaverse will provide their own unique experience. So there's definitely going to be more than one winners in the future. There's going to be a ton of metaverses
Yeah, I
that'll be
totally agree.
successful.
Yeah, some metaverses are focused on gaming, while some are going to be focused on retail and shopping, like High Street, for example. So I'm really excited to see how that all plays out. And I think each one will have a different use case. I think you're right.
But I'm losing count. You guys have 5 different verticals. Do you think you can list them all? Because right now there's education. You guys have your own NFT drop. You're a metaverse studio. You invest, and I'm missing one more. I think
We got a lot going on, but honestly, it all really ties together. We have our investment side, which is, we buy land in these metaverses. Like I said, we have holdings in over 20 metaverses, and then we may also invest in the companies themselves, whether it's through tokens or whatnot. And that's kind of our, investment side. And then on the production side, our NFT side, we create NFT projects that like Fantasy Islands or some other really interesting ones that we have coming down the pike, that are really cool, unique NFT projects. Either we partner with artists, or we do them in-house, or we partner with celebrities, musicians, or brands to do NFT drops. And we do that. But like I said, all of them are tied to a place in the metaverse. So whenever we do an NFT project, it will likely have a corresponding home in the metaverse, which ties into what we're doing on the investment side, because we need to own the land. So those are those two sides of the business. And then the education side is super important, because this is a new space. the jargon is confusing. The nomenclature is all new. And so what we want to do is give people the opportunity to learn from experts. So we launched Republic Realm Academy, which registration is still open, but classes start next year in February. And we've curated professors from all around the world and Web3 professionals to teach lectures on Web3, metaverse, NFTs. And the goal is to help people feel comfortable, working in this space, because while it's still early days, this is going to be the future. And so people who are going to dive in early are the ones who are going to see the most benefit from it. So that course is designed for people who want to get a leg up in their career and maybe be the metaverse expert at their company, or if people want to learn how to start their own business in the metaverse. I think we will see a ton of jobs unfold from this new metaverse ecosystem, and I'm really excited to see how that plays out. So that's kind of our education arm. And we also have a couple infrastructure projects that we're working on in the metaverse, as well as some gaming focused plans that we have. We announced this Learn to Earn initiative, where we're going to kind of take some of the principles from play to earn gaming, like Axie, and apply that in a way that is a learn to earn model, where, instead of spending your time breeding Axies, you're actually learning things that make you either more employable or more well suited for a job or something like that, so that you're enhancing your knowledge and you're also earning while you're doing that. So we have a lot going on, but again, the tide that binds them all is that they're all metaverse focused.
Yeah. So let's say if I want to take part in I want to learn, I want to take part in the academy as a student. How would I go about that? Do I have to buy an NFT, or is it just like a one-time payment?
Great question. So we launched Republic Realm Academy with the idea to do the first ever tuition NFT. So that NFT will provide token gated access to all of the content, all professors, message boards with students. But we realized that for a lot of people, they've never bought an NFT. They've never set up a wallet. So this is all new information. So what we did was we just created a way to buy it on our website, either with PayPal or with your credit card. And we'll whitelist everyone who has purchased registration. And we will airdrop them an NFT after we go through an orientation session that teaches you how to set up your wallet. So it's very much designed to be inclusive and to allow everyone to have access to this metaverse knowledge that we're curating. We didn't want anyone to feel intimidated in advance by having to buy the NFT with a wallet if they had never done that before. So registration is still open if you're interested. And actually, I'm happy to give everyone who's listening in on this call a special discount promo code, which maybe you guys can help me distribute after. But would love to have this community on board and in our community as well.
Thank you. I'm definitely going to get on that, because
Awesome.
I think there's going to be countless opportunities coming out.
Yeah, and I think one
year.
of the best benefits of the academy is the community, right? So you're going to have an alumni community of all these people who have gone through the course, and they're going to have cool jobs, or you can work on projects with them. So it's really connecting with like-minded people, and the value of the community, like any NFT project, is really what determines kind of the success of a project.
Yeah. And it's important to learn, because you never know you don't know what the opportunities are if you don't keep your eyes open, which is why I'm always looking for information out there. And I think this is a great opportunity.
Absolutely.
I did hear that you guys made a purchase, a $4.3 million purchase of the Sandbox land.
We did. Those are some real world numbers that we're getting into.
Yeah, that's insane.
We purchased land from Atari, the gaming company that you all have probably heard of before. And we purchased a couple of estates in the Sandbox, and we're really excited to build some cool experiences on there. If anyone has ideas for what you want to see on any of our builds, feel free to shoot me a message, and we can talk about, sourcing some community ideas. Obviously, we want to build things that people want to use. So we're obviously always open to ideas, but yeah, we're excited. We have a couple projects coming down the pike with Atari. and excited to deliver those new games and NFT projects to people. So yeah, we've had a couple record-breaking sales and acquisitions, and I think we're only going to start seeing more as more players come into this space. So as land prices creep up, it's really excited that we're delivering builds and content that are giving back to the community and that are exciting experiences for people to use, because if people can't buy land themselves, we want to make sure that they can use other people's land in a way that's exciting and beneficial for them.
So, are you official partners with Atari and you're building for them, or is it something completely different?
We are definitely partners with Atari, and we can decide what we want to build with them together, but we have the rights to kind of decide what we want to build, and they're our partner in that.
Okay. All right. So that does a lot of land. I'm guessing you don't know specifically what you're going to build on all of that yet. I'm
Yeah.
guessing it's for the future as well.
It's for the future. We have a lot of different parcels that are not yet developed, and we want to make sure that each parcel is thoughtful and is additive. So we have a lot of plans on our roadmap, but we haven't fully decided what we're going to deploy on that land yet.
So, like, if you, let's say a 24 by 24 land plot is completely built out, how long would it take for someone to explore all of that? I'm guessing it's going to take like possibly a whole year because there's a lot of content to explore.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it depends how interactive and engaging the parcels are, right? Like, what if you get stuck on a parcel that, you really like the game and it's a play to earn game and you're earning a ton of money? Like, you might not ever explore anything else if you're super hooked. So I think it just depends on what the user is looking for. I'm really excited about the social aspect of the metaverse. I think that's one key thing that has been missing. Because while I do think the metaverse obviously provides a ton of value, I think humans are, naturally social beings. And I think, hangouts and community experiences, and potentially dating in the metaverse will be something that we're exploring, just to say the least.
You guys
Like,
coming
we
out
saw
with
there
your
was
own
that
app.
metaverse wedding. I think I
I heard
forget which
about that.
metaverse it was in, but there was a metaverse wedding.
I heard about that. I didn't look into it too much. I was like, huh, cool. But
Yeah.
we'll be seeing more of that in the future for sure.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I wonder how metaverse dating is gonna go.
We'll
It's
see.
gonna be weird. It's gonna be weird. People are gonna call us losers, but then they'll start doing it too. That's okay.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
So, let's see. I completely forgot what the next question was supposed to be. So, collaborations. Do you have any collabs going on? And can you talk about them if you do?
Yeah, we do. One collab that we have going on right now is with the Fabricant. They're a digital wearables brand. They do awesome work. We're working on a wearables collection with them that is for the Sandbox. So we'll probably roll that out next year. So we're excited to kind of, we've done the builds, we're creating the experiences, but you got to look cool doing it, right? So we're excited to kind of dive deeper into the wearables section of the market. We're super bullish on wearables for the next year. And I think a ton of fashion brands are also bullish. I mean, we've seen like Gucci and Dolce & Gabbana, and some high-end brands get into the metaverse. So I think we'll see what happens.
Someone just said Kong's X Republic.
We'd love to do something with them. Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Someone did ask, are there any plans of a token offering?
We will see. Stay tuned. I'm going to be cryptic on that.
Stay tuned, guys. I specialize in the metaverse all day. Quit the job. I feel like we are in the construction area. We will. Okay, I'm terrible at reading.
I'm looking. We just will remember what it was like. Honestly, I worked at Disney for 18 years. I have seen growth in my life. Yeah, I think we're going to see a big trend of people quitting their jobs and getting full-time metaverse jobs. I think in recent years, we've seen a shift towards the gig economy and, contractors and people who aren't fully employed by big wig companies. And I think this trend will continue. And this metaverse economy is an extension of the gig economy in my eyes. I think there's tons of opportunity in the metaverse, not just for games, but for when I look at Sandbox, I view it as an economy, right? There's tokens, you can build stuff, you can make money, you can buy land. It's its own world. So I think like any world, you need jobs, you need people building it, you need people keeping it interesting. And I think the people who are in now are the ones who are honestly going to set the tone of the potential of what this can really be.
It's going to be crazy how many jobs they created at the
And that's one of the
Sandbox.
reasons why we're launching Republic Realm Academy, because I think if we can start educating people on what the potentials are, people are super creative and have really interesting brains. They'll figure out where they fit into the economy and how they can monetize and create opportunities for themselves in this space.
Someone asked, are you hiring? If so, what skills are you looking for in this space?
We are hiring. We're growing really fast. We're hiring for a bunch of different roles between, marketing, community managers, software engineers, product managers. We look for people who are super hardworking. One of the things we say is crypto never sleeps, which you all probably know from watching this show. If you're watching that's very much the case. And we're looking for people with a lot of heart and passion. And honestly, excitement about what this space is, because the output that we create is only as good as how excited we are to build it, which I think, it really shows through in our work. But again, we're looking for really interesting and creative people who are hardworking and who know the space inside and out.
So outside of what Republic Realm is looking for generally, what skills do you think will be attractive to employers inside of the Sandbox right now?
Yeah, great question. I think architects, 3D modelers will be really imperative. And I think, you see now in the Sandbox, it's voxel style, but each metaverse has its own type of vibe. Some are more photoreal, like Somnium space, and some are more cartoony, like Decentraland. And I think 3D modeling will be super important, and an awareness of that coupled with how the games work, because they need to be functional. So I think really creative modelers we're going to see an uptick in increase for that. I think also data is really important. I think if this is going to become an established space and we're treating it like, real world real estate, then land sale data and, comps and valuations are all going to kind of drive the next wave of this, especially as we see more long-term capital and real world investors kind of get into this space, because that's the type of information that they're used to seeing. So I think obviously it's super early and you can't have historical data on something that's just starting. But I think people who can crack the code on data and kind of aggregating data will be very useful to this space. But again, I think mostly this is an economy that rewards creativity, unlike many traditional job markets, which, reward, you being like a desk kind of person and whatnot. I think what's really exciting to me is that this economy opens up room for imagination and exploration and art. I think art is huge here. And I think for artists, NFTs and metaverse are transformative. It gives them a way to kind of sell their creations in an unprecedented way and receive royalties from places that were once like you couldn't tap into them. So I think the more people that we bring into the fold, the more exciting content-wise and the more lucrative economic-wise the whole space will become.
Yeah, I think the metaverse is supposed to be a place where your imagination is your only limit. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, artists, they're gonna have a bright future when the metaverse actually becomes a big thing, because they're the most creative people on the earth. So I'm super excited to see how that turns out. And I'm also like just waiting for that one metaverse builder or sandbox builder to just break out and become a superstar. And then all of a sudden, building inside the sandbox will become a cool thing and everyone will want to do it. I think it's just bound to happen.
Yeah. I can't wait to see what happens. I wish I had a crystal ball to predict it. But I think what's so cool is that just the decentralized nature of all of this is that it's really a co-creation effort, right? Like we want to lean on our community to make sure that their voices are heard in what we're building and what we're putting out there. So underscoring all this is just the importance of community.
So you want to talk about how big the Republic Realm team is right now?
Sure. We have a team of about 20 people, um, ranging from software engineers to marketing people to, product people. And again, we're split by this asset management side and then the NFT side, which is the part of the business that I'm responsible for overseeing, an academy. But again, we're growing super fast. We have more ideas than we know what to do with them. So our team of 20 is looking for lots of new friends and faces to build with us.
Cool. I mean, sounds like a good problem to have, having more ideas than what
Yeah.
yeah.
We have lots of fun and weird and crazy ideas, but that's what the metaverse is for, right? Like, look at this. You're like twerking with a monkey right now. That's amazing. I have a roommate and she always listens to my calls and she's like, why are you talking about monkeys and astronauts and, building spacesuits and whatever else you're talking about? I'm like, that's my job. Like it's kind of crazy the time that we're in.
Yeah, it's great.
It is. Someone said that's the best part. It definitely is the best part. Like it's super fun. I see you're still twerking, so obviously you're having fun too, which is great.
What is the GFT shops? It's not the Meta Juku, is it? It's completely
No.
different. Yeah.
GFT shop, we have not yet launched, but we're super excited about it. It's basically an NFT project made for gifting. And so again, it's we know that we're early in the space, and while there's like people who are really all in on the NFT space, I think there's a lot of people out there who are reading about it and they see it in headlines and they're like, I still don't get what it is. So GFT is designed for gifting. So you can buy someone an NFT and give it to them as a gift, and it opens in this amazing surprise. But you should definitely follow along because we'll be launching it soon.
Okay. Cool.
And there will be a GFT store in the metaverse. So we'll be looking forward to bringing people experiences there as well.
Cool. Yes, there is a limited edition POAP to win in our Discord, so please make sure. I mean,
Yeah,
if you like
get
POAPs,
that POAP.
that POAP is important. It's important. So let's talk about the sandbox. What is your plans for the sandbox?
Our plans for the sandbox are to keep building. Like I said, we're all in on the sandbox. We've actually been doing a bunch of analysis on metaverses that we plan to put out this really cool report. And by a lot of metrics, sandbox is just, for lack of a better word, positively crushing it. I think we're really excited about the partners and collaborators in the sandbox, and Sebastian and his team are amazing and have done an awesome job. So our plans for Sandbox are, like I said, to keep revamping the Fantasy Islands community, and delivering those islands at some point, early this next year. But then also building community spaces, and rewarding people for being early fantasy collection holders. So if you do own a fantasy collection NFT, we have really exciting announcements to make in the coming weeks that we'll talk about how you can engage more in the community and get more involved. And so we're planning on building out the rest of those parcels with a beach club, with a marina, with a couple games that people can use their assets in. And then for other parcels, we're excited to work with other brands that I know you guys will love, but we can't announce them yet. Brands that you've heard of to build gaming experiences, and do associated NFT collections, again, we're planning some really exciting builds, and all of them have associated NFT components as well. So definitely stay tuned, because 2021 was awesome. We laid a lot of groundwork. We bought the land, we laid the foundation, but 2022 is when the real building is going to start. So we're really excited for what's to come.
Yeah. Even if crypto crashes in 2022, like the space is gonna innovate and move forward in such a exponential way, and I'm just excited to see all of that happening. Like the metaverse space, the gaming space is just gonna explode. It's
Yeah.
gonna be amazing.
Yeah. And part of it is like, there will be market cycles. That's like any market. But we plan to stick around. So obviously
Yeah.
we're very invested in the metaverse. We believe in it, and we're excited to kind of keep building. And also, as the technology evolves in all these metaverses, the more stuff we can do, the more interesting collaborative and creative stuff we can do. So excited to see some of these metaverses launch in a more full way. Obviously, like Sandbox did its alpha pass, but excited for it to open up fully.
Yeah. I mean, even if, crypto and NFTs crash and it continues to stay down while these projects continue to innovate, it just gives you a more clear vision of which projects are here for the long term. And you can buy those projects at a cheaper price, which is a win. So it's
Yeah.
going to be, yeah. So
Yeah.
as an investor, I'm super excited as well.
Yeah, me too.
What do you think about Nike buying Artifact? Do you think Artifact sold out? Is it a good thing for the space? Is it bad? What are your thoughts? Because I know it's a mixed opinion.
Yeah, it's a great question, and we are partnered with Artifact for a certain number of projects that we're working on. So, I think it's interesting. I think you know it's a validation of the work that not only Artifact has done in this space, but that everyone in this metaverse and decentralized space has done, because I think it shows that places like Nike are supportive of it and believe in it. And I think, Nike's still going to let Artifact do their thing. They've done amazing art, and Nike, I always have believed in what they've stood for as a brand. I think in terms of corporate brands, like they're definitely one of the good ones. I don't think they're sellouts. I think they are taking, the decentralized economy into a broader space. And if ultimately this is going to be the future, then you have to you can't live in silos, right? Like you have to work together in order for for it to be as big and amazing as it can be. And I think, I'm excited to see what happens with that collaboration. I think Artifact does amazing work. Their latest NFT drop was awesome. Even the whole UX of it was really cool. But I think, yeah, I don't think they're sellouts. I think it's a really interesting acquisition. And I think it's a validation of the work that they've done. And I think it's a little glimpse into what the future is going to be like with, decentralized economies taking over.
It was a very unexpected move. I thought they were just going to enter the sandbox and do what Adidas is doing, but then they just straight up bought Artifact, which I was like, what just happened over here?
Yeah.
But yeah. Is there an NFT project right now that you look up to? You wake up in the morning, you're like, whoa, they're doing some cool stuff. I want to replicate that for my own project, but in our own way.
Yeah. Great question. I think that a lot of projects have done really interesting things. Obviously, Bored Ape is like the holy grail. I think what they've done is really nailed, obviously, the community piece and the utility piece. And I think Cool Cats also for profile picture projects in terms of community building and utility have done an amazing job. I think when you have people kind of where your NFT is a badge of honor, you've done something right. I also really love what Artifact did with their avatars, because they're truly like an expression of yourself in digital form. And I think that's kind of what the future of the metaverse is, right? Like this is who I am, but in the metaverse. And so I think as the projects that kind of tap into people's emotions and their identities are the ones that really are exciting to me, because I'm viewing the NFT space as people's a manifestation of people's like deepest expression. So I think those are a couple of projects that I'm super into. Also love art blocks and everything that they do.
Cool. I think that's pretty much it for today. One last question. What can people expect from Republic Realm over the next few months?
Over the next few months, we have a bunch of NFT projects that we're rolling out. So if you haven't joined our Discord, you definitely should to follow along. Obviously, the Republic Realm Academy first classes start in February. So you can definitely expect some more education out of us. And again, just a continuation of building our community and in tandem building developments in metaverses like the Sandbox. We're excited to announce a couple infrastructure projects that we have in the works in addition. So yeah, I think the question is like, what aren't we doing? There's a lot to do. But again, it's all really exciting. It's all really fun, and appreciate you having us on to talk about some of the cool things that we're doing.
Thank you for having us on. And if you're listening or watching and you would like the discount code for the Academy, we'll just put it up on Twitter so you know where to go to.
Cool.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks,
Peace.
everyone.
I'm very bad at outros. Yeah, they know that.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.